Who's that? Robert.
Hey, you know the kid that sits next to me in his arms class? He was snitching on Rio. So Levi? Good day. Rio, whatever his name is, he was gonna miss the coach. He would do this for Will. Because he was passing it.
Well, the kid that was from that camo.
Raleigh.
Huh?
Kid that was from that camo gator.
So sorry.
Well, you come to class. I had it for a whole day.
Rio, where'd you at yesterday? Oh, it was Ramos. That's the
Oh, he's my son.
Yeah.
You like it?
I can't even understand what he says.
I don't even, he looks at me and talks to me, I'm like,
You
yeah.
go down there real fast?
I feel so
Can
bad.
you go down there real fast? Go to, take your homework out.
They say I'm
Get
not
back to
on
the new
my-
stuff. Okay?
But like, I wanna have a conversation with
Do
you.
your homework.
I feel bad.
Somebody.
Gab,
Sabrina.
having a good day? She flinches. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, right.
Bobo? Get that hood off.
Bubba, it's 70 degrees. You know, since you walk in here with a hood.
I ain't walking anywhere. Figure that you can get your homework out. No, last class today, you gotta finish strong. Third.
Can we get an AC again?
Heck no.
He said no. It's the hospital. Sauna.
Yeah, baby. We're gonna shed
Wait
some,
today.
we're gonna shed some calories.
Hey, this class is better than the school. Her class is like 20 to 50.
Alright.
She looked at my eyes. She started cussing.
Pass your homework forward.
That's not good. This ain't good. I didn't do too bad.
What's homework number 2?
Good.
You said pass it forward?
Right in front of the box.
Pass it forward.
Ready?
Mine is right there.
You got it, didn't you?
Yeah, I'll take it. You guys factor. Are we factoring again this year, coach? Hey, coach, I got some more.
I don't know. I would almost say,
That's ways. I can tell. Hey, but
That
that
ain't
ain't
work.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah.
Put a name.
Definitely a girl's handwriting.
Is that cool? And we got 2 more. Cheers.
Riley, you turned in yesterday's homework? You did? Okay.
That's crazy. That's number
Both of them, both of them, that graph is mine. That graph is mine.
What you mean why not stay with? I didn't have time to.
The graph is part of the homework.
There's 3 statements.
Yeah, you got that?
That's being scary.
You got
Do
it.
it.
I had it.
I did. Let me see.
Yes, sir.
I didn't know it was
You're still going over.
I knew it.
You're still going over.
Who doesn't have a,
Waylon Mayhaw. That's you, right?
I guess I'm great. Coach, you great this? Huh? You great? Or is? She don't have, somebody doesn't have one great.
I'm embarrassed.
Alright, number 2. We did it yesterday, I believe, on the board, right? Alright, so, some credit. Number 3, they graph the inverse function and the normal function, give them credit. Domain and range. Number 4 should be F, negative 1, x equals x minus 3. Alright, they didn't get that answer? Count it wrong. 5 should be 1/4 x.
You need to put.
That's fine.
Count.
Same thing.
6 X's.
6 should be 2x. 7 is x plus 2 halves. 2 1/2. Or 5/4, or 5/2, I mean. Alright, number 8 is a 5th x plus a 5th. Number 9 is 2/x minus 3, or 2x minus 6. 2x minus 6. 10 is negative 2x plus 6. 11 is negative 2/3x plus 1. 12 is a 1/4x minus 1. 13 is 2/3x plus 5/3.
Wait, I'm for X minus for number 8, what did they put?
What did you say, 13?
X, 1
Yeah, he
plus
did.
point.
What did you say, 13?
Who got my paper?
That's the same thing.
No, you said you missed it.
One over.
Alright, let me know.
Oh, okay.
Come on.
You're real.
Let me finish.
I just. Horrible parent.
Alright. Who missed any?
I missed two.
Ken.
2's 91.
What?
Any other? Yes, brother. 6 is 73.
What's
Minus 3 is 86. Minus 3 is 86. 1's 95. 5 is 77. Hey, sit down.
Only missed one.
Any others?
I didn't mention him, but yeah. You missed one.
Bless you.
What'd you get on?
You missed it.
Alright, you just keep it right now, and then we'll pass it up towards the end of the day. Alright? We're gonna go over some homework questions real quick.
Yeah, can you do an umbrella?
1 second. One at a time. Alright, today's learning objective. Giving a function, f of x. Students will be able to provide the inverse functions and then graph it. After graphing the inverse function, students will then be able to provide the domain and range of the inverse and interval notation. Everybody remember what interval notation was, right? That's what we did in the last chapter, whenever we was doing our transformations, right? Alright. Whoa, come up here. We're at the first step. We're solving inverse function.
Alright.
What did you write?
You guys finished?
Sit down.
Yeah, that's right, that's right.
That is right.
That's right.
That's right.
Okay.
Good. Alright. 2. Let's write a little more legible this time. First,
Both of these are gone. What you just said?
Say, go ahead and practice writing your name.
hey. Good job. 3. Colin. Come on.
That was from last week.
I wasn't here last week.
You got this, man. You got this.
You get help?
Yeah,
You
I
coming,
helped.
you coming in during lunch?
I helped them.
Sound good?
Okay.
Hey, he wrong then.
Brooke.
Let me know.
I got it, I got it.
Nope. Brooke, come on. Right Alright, step 3.
What did he say?
Good job.
I can read that.
Alright, last step.
Wait.
I don't know it.
Me.
Tristan.
Oh, yeah. You got it, man.
Thanks. Oh, I know the last one.
Thank you.
Last step.
I didn't know you
You
were
know
that long.
You're changing something, Tristan.
You know how to explain it.
I know.
Do it.
You're changing something.
Yeah.
Oh, I know what it is. Okay.
Tristan, how tall are you?
640.
Hey. Yep, keep working. Keep going. Good job. Alright,
See, look at that.
these are our steps for solving for inverse functions. You written that down, Colin? You better write it down if you don't know it. Alright, so. Alright, so any questions over the homework now? Number 11. Get that written down there, Colin.
I am good.
Alright. Let's see.
Find out.
Number 11 says f of x.
I got too long for that,
Alright. Okay. Step 1. What do we, yes, Ron?
On Schoology, since I wasn't here, it's only telling you 4 through 13.
Yes, we added 2 and 3. That's fine. Okay.
Pretty much.
That's fine. I'll, just make sure you take those off. Cause I haven't put it in the grade book yet.
Okay.
So, yes, we added yesterday, 2 and 3, just to give you what we're doing today. Alright? Alright, step 1.
Step one.
Who asked the question? Shamika, what's step 1?
She was fine.
Step 1. What does it say, Shamika? Look. F of x to y. Bless you. Alright, so that's step 1. Step 2. What was step 2, Camden?
Oh, mess. They call me up for it.
He
Nope.
said it, you said it.
No. What?
What's step 2?
Switch to X and Y.
Thank you.
I had to do a recap.
Alright. Step 3.
Call me again.
Gray, what's step 3? Solve for y? Alright. So what was the first thing you do when you got trying to solve for y now?
Well, I distributed.
You distributed? Okay, that's fine. There's more than one way to do it. So 1/2 times 3 is what? Or 3/2. It's a 1/2 time, same thing. Alright. So, now we distributed. What do we do now, Greg? Subtract 3/2. Whatever we do to one side, you gotta do to the other side. Alright, so that leaves it with. Alright. So now what? How do we solve for y now?
Divide by negative 3.
Do what?
You gotta get rid of the negative.
Yep. How do we get rid of negative 3/2?
Divide by negative 3.
Divide by negative 3/2, okay? So when we divide by a fraction, what do we use or do? Reese? Flip it, which is called reciprocal, right? Remember that back in the day, algebra days? Reciprocal. Okay, so now, let's see. Make sure it's negative. Cause you want a positive y, right?
Yeah.
Make sure it's, we gotta get rid of the negative too. Two negatives make positive. X cancels. Now we multiply everything by what?
Negative 3.
Negative 2/3. Now, distribute. What are we left with?
Negative 2/3
Is it minus or plus now?
plus.
Yep. Two negatives make it positive, right? How do you distribute? Negative 3/2 times negative 2/3. What do you have to do? Multiply the top together, which is 2 times 3, 6. What does 6/6 equal? 1. Are we done? Is that the last step?
No.
We solve for y now. What's our last step?
Change the y to F.
Good. This is what Tristan said. Last step.
Gotcha.
Alright.
What's the point of writing if it's the same answer?
Because you have to put the F.
It's the
Yeah.
inverse.
It's the inverse, and you gotta dictate what, and let people know that it's the inverse. Cause if you just leave it like that, everybody thinks that you change y to f of x, not f minus 1 x, which is the inverse. Alright, so, any other questions? 12? Alright, 12. Says, oh, f of x. Alright. Gabby, first step.
Change the F of X to Y.
Good. Alright, second step. Riley.
Switch the X and the Y.
Third step. Carla? Solve for y, right? Alright, so let's do things a little different than we did last time. We distributed first last time, correct? Alright, so let's get rid of this 4 first this time. How do we do that?
Divide by 4.
What, Cam? Yes, Cam.
Divide by 4.
Thank you. So whatever you do to one side, you gotta do the other side. So, x over 4 equals y plus 1. Now, what do we do?
Subtract the 1.
Everybody see that? Everybody good? Is that our last step?
No.
What's the last step? That's your answer. Good? You got a cue? Good. What about you? You got it? Good? 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 Yes, Jake? Good? Great? Good. Any other questions? 10. Alright, so we're gonna do something different this time. Nope, right here. So, alright, this time, number 10, I'm gonna put on the problem. We're gonna get into today's lesson now. Reese, we'll do step 1. Good job. Jayla, we'll do step 2. Good job. Shamika, do step 3. You got it, come on. What do you gotta do? Solve for a while, right? That's partially right, don't forget. You got a negative, alright? Good job. Are we done? Is that just partially right? Q, we can finish it off. She got you that far. You gotta get what? You gotta solve for y, right? Those squats.
I got it. I ain't copied up nobody, but it's my brain. Chill up.
Shut up. Easy, easy.
I'm playing with it. I mean,
How do you get rid of, what do you gotta get rid of? Get y by itself.
I was already
Insurance. Good. Hey, easy, he's fine. Trust me, I'm the same way.
What's happened for you?
I don't know.
You're good, no, keep working.
Alright, good. Bring it while I'm here, right?
Yep.
I skipped a step.
No, you're good, keep going. Yep, keep working. And when you divide, hey, listen, when you divide by half, what do you actually divide by, what do you actually do? Reciprocal, right?
Oh, yeah.
What's the reciprocal of a half?
2. Oh, okay. Alright, good. I ain't skipping
Skip a step.
No, keep working. You literally got one more. That's all you gotta do. What is it? What did you just do to this X right here? How'd you get 2X? Negative 2X. What'd you do? Multiply it by what? Yeah. What do you do to the negative 3? Good. But, listen. What was you multiplying by? Negative. 2 negatives make a? Good job, Q. Alright, so, step 3, that was all step 3. SJ, what do you do to step 4?
Do like f negative 1x, negative 2x,
Right. Alright, so. Alright, now, that's your answer for the inverse, right? Today, we're working on graphing your inverse now. Like we did a little bit of yesterday, but what was it that we graphed yesterday? Did we graph the actual equation? We graphed coordinates yesterday, and we just connected the dots, right?
Right.
Today, we're graphing our equation, alright? So what's our formula that we had back in algebra?
Y minus MXB.
Yep, alright. Hey, what was B? The starting point, right? B is your, what's another name of it? Y-intercept. Okay? So this, 6, is your starting point in your Y-intercept. That's where we start. MX plus B. What does MX stand for?
Slope.
Slope.
Rise over run.
Rise over run. Alright. So over 1. So when it says rise over run, what does negative 2 mean?
Go down two. Go down two.
Down 2.
Right.
Right 1. Okay. What if we flopped them? What would happen? Up 2, left 1. Either way, it's going downhill, right?
See.
Negative slope is always going downhill. Positive slope, uphill. Alright? Now, so let's graph it now. So where was our starting point? 6. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. That's our starting point. What was our rise over run?
Negative 2 over 1.
Down 2. 1, 2,
Right 1.
over 1. And you just keep repeating and repeating. So it's down 2, over 1. Down 2, over 1. Alright, so that's just one way. Well, let's go up now. So now we go up to left 1. Anybody got a question about going up now? Everybody understand that?
I have a question.
Yes.
Are we always gonna have to graph the 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3 like we did yesterday?
He said you.
No, you don't have to. But I just wanted to show you a visual of how it just flips over that y equals line x. I'm sure it will be. But now, watch this. Remember how we just connected the dots yesterday?
Right.
This is actual slope, and this is actual a line now. So it's gonna be,
With the arrows.
yep.
So when we do the.
Are we gonna curve these?
So when we do the domain.
All right. Now listen,
We asked a question.
do you remember the transformations we did doing the domain and range?
Just
All right. So let's do the domain. Domain. What does domain mean? The X, right? So we're going left to right. Where do we start?
Negative.
Negative 1.
No, it's negative infinity, there's an arrow.
I thought there was no infinity.
Yesterday there was no infinities because why? We had coordinates,
Okay.
right? We had coordinates. Add an end, add a start and an end to a coordinate. But now we have a line. We have a line. Everybody see the arrow now? Infinite now. So what, is this positive or negative? Good. Everybody see? Oh, I got a parentheses now, not a bracket. Everybody know the difference between the bracket and the parentheses? What's the bracket mean?
It means the end point.
It's where it starts. Good. What's our range?
Is it not bottom to top? Right?
Bottom to top. So you work up. Is it, where's this going?
Yeah, yeah.
The arrow's still going down, right?
Sorry, yeah.
Infinitely. It's always gonna keep going.
So the domain is right to left? Or left to
Domain
right?
is X, the X, so you're going
You always start from negative.
left to right.
Then how, but then,
Range, you're going top to bottom, or bottom to top, I mean.
So it's from negative to
then if
positive.
the domain is going up.
Cause you hit it, it's going,
Listen,
hit the positive first.
everybody see, it's not going straight up, right? So, it's still got a slant, it's still going left at some point, and it's still going up at a line. It's a slope. It's not a straight line going up like an asymptote. It's just going at a slight, like it was in the square root of X. Understand? Okay? Alright, so, that was basically all we was doing today. Let's see.
Just that.
Alright, so, got a little critical thinking question for you today. Everybody remember how we did our square root of X, right? How we graphed it?
Yep.
How would you do it if we did an inverse?
You guys go, the other way, right?
Remember how we had a question yesterday for the inverse?
Square root of X, the coordinates that's going like
You
this,
flip the
just-
domain, right? Yeah.
Hold on. What was it yesterday? Anybody have their homework from yesterday? Let me see it. No, it wasn't yesterday. No, it was the worksheet.
It says worksheet.
Yeah, it was, I think it was.
This one? You got it.
Yes, I got it.
Oh, that's fine. Anyways. We got a. Oh, that's what it was. Here we go. I remember now. So it was.
That would be plus 6.
It was plus 4. Remember, because it was, y equals, it was y squared equals 16x. That's what it was. You remember that question yesterday? That's what it was. So, how would you graph that?
But that's one in the end, I mean, you start.
What was that for?
That's starting point is 4. That's your y
That's
intercept.
vertical straights.
Do you
Oh,
know?
that's vertical.
Would you
Shit.
change
That's vertical
anything?
shift up.
You would not change anything. All you would do is start at your y-intercept, and that's where we go with our coordinates. Remember our coordinates? What was it? 0, 0, 1, 1.
2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 4.
Good. Hey, just connecting the dots a little bit now. Everybody understand? Good job. Alright, tonight's homework.
No homework.
It's not that late. We still got 15 minutes left.
That's 18.
Homework.
Well, that's 39.
Do tomorrow. You had 40 problems, dude. Whenever, it was 2 days ago. No.
Y'all remember that about home theater where?
No, there's only one thing to say.
I'm gonna be in that group chat.
Why is it so hard in school?
Oh, everything.
I don't know.
That's not a lie.
No, it's not a lot.
That's 10 problems.
Yeah, it's not a lot at all. Alright, let's look at it. 14 through 16 says, graph each function and then graph its inverse. So you should have two different graphs. One original function, one inverse function. That should be 14 through 16. Yeah, and then it's 19. 19, everybody look at 19. It was just like 2 and 3 that we did last night's homework. Understand? It was just plotting the coordinates, connecting the dots. Okay? I think that one says to provide the domain and range also on that one. And then 21 through 27, or 21 through 25 is just finding the inverse. It's not graphing, just the inverse. 26, 27, you're graphing the function and the inverse.
Can you swap it to a negative 2x?
Hey, listen. I'm not telling you either.
Swap to negative x.
Yes, Bobo? No.
You got a question?
Yes.
Do we graph with all of them?
No, that's what I was just going over.
She don't listen.
I was trying to find the page number.
Listen, 14 through 16,
If you go to
you're
the page,
graphing
it says-
the original function and the inverse function. So you should have two different graphs. 14 through 16. 19, you're graphing just the coordinates. Like we did yesterday on 2 and 3. Remember? Connect the dots. Things like that. Yes, Or what? Oh, hold on 1 second, guys, before you start graphing anything. Yes, you can borrow. I got some graphing paper for you. Oh, what? Yes, you can get one. Bobo, where's your book?
I said root.
Not today. Tomorrow. Oh, yes. Make sure you pass your homework forward. What? Yeah, hold on to it, Ted. Make sure you pass your homework forward, then give it to Gray at the end. Pass it left.
All I know is 91, but I ain't got mine.
Wait, you can only, it's called crash web.
Give it back to me.
You're not gonna, what I do, you got contact us? I need blue.
Gray, you have everything? You have all the homework?
Wow. Don't hand that. I ain't gonna hand my stack to you staple it.
But you wanna make that a digit, don't you?
Who?
Alright, do I have everybody's homework from last night?
No, cause somebody wanna pass mine back to me.
Make sure your name's on it too.
Hey, what about that? Hey,
Good job.
okay.
Alright. One last thing before you leave, should only take you like 5 minutes. Everybody get out a sheet of paper. No, that's all it is. It's an exit slip. Before you leave this class, I want you to answer these questions. Number 1, what's the easiest part for solving an inverse function for you? Yourself. your own opinion. Example is either solving for y, graphing the function, or listing domain range. Okay? Number 2. What is the hardest part for you during this unit? You understand? It's your own personal opinion. All I want you to do is put it on a piece of paper. And then before you leave this class, give it to me. That's why it's called an exit slip. Yeah, it's literally, I give you examples of what to put.
Flipping X and Y.
Yeah, all you gotta do is that. Well, yes, person.
How you supposed to grab what? So that's like 2.5, right? In between.
I used to.
You need to make it a whole number or a fraction or a decimal number is what you probably gonna need. Where you start at what? No. You'd start at 2.5. Alright. Everybody look.
I used to restroom.
No.
235. Let's see that.
It's too pretty cool. It's
Nope.
11 minutes.
Look. Alright, so what is it, 19? 14. Look here. What did you find? What was it, Christian? Minus what? No, I'm talking about the answer. 1.5 x minus 5 halves. One half x. Is it minus 5 halves? Alright, everybody look. Look up here. Plus 5 halves, okay. That's fine. Alright, plus 5 halves. Look. What did we say this was? That's your y-intercept. And that's where you start, right? Listen. 5 halves. I would change that to a decimal if I were you.
It's a -2.
Negative what?
2.
No.
Doesn't matter if it's on top or bottom.
So we do it to a decimal.
Which is
2.5.
2 half.
And then what do you do?
You go up, right over a little bit, 2, and you bubble it. Make your corner.
Alright, so we start at 2.5, right? So make a dot. 2.5. Right? Now we go to our slope.
Down,
Up 1.
down,
No.
down 1, left 2.
Negative 1/2, right? Going downhill. So down 1, over 2.
Over 2 out.
That's the right move.
Down 1, over 2. What?
He said left, I told him
Yeah.
that was the right.
So what if we go up now? You go up 1. Hold on 1 second. How about that's step 2? Alright, so since it's a half, you go down 1, it's gonna be at 1.5 now. Then you go over 2. Down 1, which is a half. Over 2. So the coordinate for this one right here would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, and then a half. But you don't have to put the coordinates. I'm just, alright, so say we went up 1, what do you have to do that next?
Go up a half or like getting
You
it.
go up 1, left
2.
2, cause it's the opposite now, right? Now you just connect the dots. Make sure you put it. Everybody understand that?
Yes,
Wait, so that negative one make the 2 negative?
Hmm?
So that negative on that 1 half will make the 2 negative?
It's our negative.
What do you mean? Listen, what this means, what this slope form means, you have a -1/2. That's one way. Or you can have, whenever we go up, you start up, going up now, and do this. Understand what that means? One means up 1, negative means
Okay.
left 2, right? Everybody understand that?
We don't have to do the domain, right?
No, only ones you have to do domain and range on. 19, I think. Why would we say not to do domain and range?
It's gonna be the same, negative infinity to infinity.
Exactly. So if we give you coordinates, that's something different, right?
Back.
You actually have a domain and range. Good.
So next is number 14.
Yes. But you have to graph the original function too, though. I think, didn't you say that?
Yeah.
That was the inverse I just graphed. Is that right? I'll say you graph, let's graph each function. And then write the graph, its inverse, so graph each function, the normal function, and then its inverse. So you should have 2 graphs, 14 through 16. You got 6 minutes, Cam. Has everybody done their exit slip?
Wait.
Everybody?
No.
Make sure you get that exit slip done, or you won't be going to the bathroom until you get that exit slip done.
5 years.
Exactly.
Do you want us to write the question?
Make sure you write your name.
You like to ask?
Yes, it's J.
Okay, so this is the original one.
Mm-hmm.
So I should put them like the value of 1?
Yep.
If I-
No. What's your formula? Y equals. So what I would do is put it in the right form first, the order.
Why would you do that?
No, you literally got 5 minutes. You can't leave the last 10 minutes class.
I asked for this 11.
Okay.
That's 11.
Two eggs and a ball.
Somebody asked 20 minutes, and Kegel didn't let me go. 5 minutes.
Just like mobile.
Hey, I'm
Just let it be like-
Do what?
casual, he's not.
Oh, no.
Be left
SJ,
to-
you stay up?
I
So
can
why
see
did
this.
you fall out?
Before.
Okay. All right.
Down to.
On this one,
You know what I'm saying? So it's negative.
Here's everything. It's like a fact, it's like a shoot. You have to distribute it across everything. Multiply 4 by everything. In those cases.
Oh, here's my paper.
So how do you divide that? What is it when you divide that?
Minus what? No, it's not an 8. It's not an X. Yep. You. Yep, that's all you do. What was our formula? Y equals mx plus b, right? So write it in the right order first, which is f or y equals -2x plus 5. Just so you can do everything visualize. Yep, so where you start?
That's all you do?
Whose exit slip do I not have?
Mine.
What is it? Great.
This yours.
That's fine, everybody wants Good job today, guys. We've already covered everything that's in this unit, so all we're doing is repetition now. Probably have a test, probably next Thursday, if I had to guess.
But if you ready for it, y'all come in on Monday, remember that. But he gonna come in on Monday, but he ready for it. I know you ready, y'all.
Still got 2 minutes, got a minute left. That's pretty good. I like it. Whose face is that? Awesome.